So what is early conciliation? Okay, so a couple of years back, the law changed in relation to how you put forward a claim in the employment tribunal. The reason for this is that the government wanted to increase the number of cases that are settled before it gets to the point of the employment tribunal, and to reduce the number of claims that are in the employment tribunal system. So what they did was introduce a system called early conciliation, which is dealt with by ACAS. It's a free service. You go online onto the ACAS website, you fill out a simple form with some information about yourself and about your employer, and then somebody from ACAS will either email you or get in contact with you by phone, and they will then ask some details from you about your case. So they'll just prize a few more bits of information from you about who you are. They'll confirm your address, your phone number, your contact details, and those of your employer. They will also ask you a little bit about your case. Now, you don't have to know all the legal ins and outs about what kind of claims you have, but you do have to give them a flavour of what your complaint is about. So hopefully, if you've got to the point of early conciliation, you have a bit of an understanding there. Then what will happen is they will pass all those information over to an ACAS officer, so a conciliation officer, who will then get in contact with you and call you to discuss your case again, to find out exactly what you want out of it. And then they will contact your employer. So if at that point you have a settlement offer, so you're happy to settle your case, let's just say you've worked out that your claim for unfair dismissal, for example, is worth £15,000, and you've decided that actually in order to settle it early on you'd take 10, then you would tell the ACAS officer that your settlement offer is £10,000, and if possible the reasoning how you've got to that decision, so that you've looked at actually that it is your loss of earnings and you haven't just picked a figure out of the air. They will then take it to your employer, and if your employer is willing to discuss and negotiate, then they may come back with a counter offer, or they may say no altogether, or they may accept your offer. At which point the ACAS officer, in conjunction with you and the employer, will put together the terms of the agreement, which is known as a COT 3 agreement. Now, if no agreement is reached, then the ACAS officer will issue you with a certificate, the ACAS Early Conciliation Certificate, or EC certificate, and that will then enable you to make your claim in the employment tribunal. There's a reference number on the certificate that you need to input into your claim form in order to make your claim in the employment tribunal. So it's a process that everybody has to follow in the majority of employment cases, and it means that you have the opportunity to try to settle things early. If, on the other hand, you've already been through a process of negotiation with your employer and you know that they have no intention of settling and you just want it over with, you can explain that to the ACAS officer and they will issue you with the certificate. So whilst going through the process is mandatory, actually engaging in the early conciliation or the settlement discussions is not mandatory. So you can say, look, I don't want to go any further with this, I've already tried, and they will issue you with the certificate. But you do need, crucially, you need that certificate number before you can make a claim. Now, with the ACAS service, it is a free service, okay? So it is designed that you can do it yourself. You don't need a solicitor, you don't need a lawyer, you don't need a representative to help you with that. And actually it can increase your costs by doing so. However, quite often my clients say to me, actually, I'd like you to deal with it for me, Alison. Either they don't have the time, or it's too stressful, or they just feel that they're better off having someone else do it for them. So it's certainly something I can help with, but if you are going through the process yourself and your solicitor or representative is saying that they have to deal with it for you, that's not correct. You can deal with it yourself, so do feel free to do so. If you'd like any more information about this, you can get in touch with me directly. It's alison@realemploymentlawadvice.co.uk, or on one of the numbers on the bottom of the screen. Many thanks for watching this video and best of luck with your case.